Lawmakers in Texas have been relentless in regard to dismantling reproductive rights in the state. And if you can recall, earlier this week, we covered a story involving the teen abortion rate in Texas and how it has actually increased because of some of the anti-reproductive rights policies that they've passed. Many clinics have shut down, and those clinics were providing contraceptives and family planning to young people and pretty much a lot of women throughout the state. And since they've been shut down, women don't have access. And so the unwanted pregnancy rate does go up. Well, lawmakers in Texas have decided that they will combat that by essentially making abortion illegal. So this new legislation that's been proposed would make providing an abortion illegal except in a small number of very specific circumstances. These include cases in which the abortion is necessary to prevent the death of the mother, or she is facing imminent severe irreversible brain damage or imminent severe irreversible paralysis. The same is true if the fetus is not likely to survive, has a serious abnormality. There could be exceptions made in those cases. However, if the pregnancy could lead to significant psychological harm to the mother, that would not be considered one of the exceptions. So what the lawmakers would do is essentially take a medical professional's license away if he or she performs an abortion in any case, unless it's under one of these very specific circumstances, okay? So notably, the bill explicitly states that performing an abortion due to any substantial risk to the psychological condition of the mother is prohibited. Also, keep in mind that the governor has been extremely counterproductive in the state. There was a bipartisan effort that was actually awesome that he decided to veto. The governor vetoed a bill that would have maintained Texas's Women's Health Advisory Committee, which had bipartisan support and helped low-income women access reproductive care that would help prevent the need for abortion services.
That's the key. What Anna just said is the key. They are taking away reproductive education. They're taking away low-cost contraception. They're taking away the ways that prevent abortion before a woman is even pregnant. And then they are forcing, in essence, the pregnancy on a societal level to happen. And then they're forcing women now to have those babies. And more to the point, they're taking away a woman's right to choose. So you're taking away that reproductive education, and then you're taking away the control a woman has over her own body.
And also keep in mind that Texas has passed legislation that was considered unconstitutional by the Supreme Court. And I'm specifically talking about anti-reproductive rights legislation.
About abortion clinics and what they had to have.
Exactly, like the hospital admitting privileges, for instance.
Right.
The Supreme Court struck that down, said it was unconstitutional.
Right, because they wouldn't grant admitting privileges to anyone who performed an abortion. So already you're making abortion illegal.
Exactly, but one thing to keep in mind is that lawmakers are now emboldened by the fact that Neil Gorsuch is a Supreme Court justice. And so if a case like this makes it all the way to the Supreme Court, which it likely would if it was passed as law in the state, there is some possibility that he would side with these lawmakers. And that's why a lot of people are really concerned about what's going on right now.
The loophole, some have written that the loophole is because Roe versus Wade allows certain situations in which states can limit the amount of abortion, albeit not in the first trimester. They're trying to find every little bit that they can, because as it stands now, the law is not on the side of these initiatives, as proven by the Supreme Court case as recently as 2016, and just the legacy of Roe versus Wade. It's not on their side, so they're doing everything they can possible to get it at the edges, to undercut little elements of it every way that they can. And it just, I understand, I respect any initiative to change the world. They're trying to change the world, but the things that they're trying to change about the world are unchangeable. The facts remain that if you take away education about preventative, contraceptive education, if you get rid of that, it increases pregnancy rates.
Yeah.
And if you increase pregnancy rates, it increases the number of abortions.
That's right. That's literally what's happening in the state right now.
The main solve here, the thing that everyone agrees with you on, is people don't want to increase the number of abortions. We mentioned yesterday, there was one quote where someone involved in a lawsuit said that these these anti-lifers are so in love with abortion that no one's in love with abortion. Everyone wants to limit them as much as possible. No one wants to be involved in it. That's like the last case scenario, worst case scenario, final option. But what they're doing is denying the fact that if you educate people, they'll know more. And that's all we need to do. Everyone wants to educate them, allow these practices. There's this new bill that they're trying to get through in Wisconsin that I read about, where they're trying to prevent state-funded universities from teaching their intern doctors abortion practices.
I can't.
Like about the procedure, just teaching them that the procedure exists. It's all these little tiny things they're trying to do when already not $1 of federal funding goes to abortion.
Right, there's the Hyde Amendment, which prevents taxpayer money going toward abortions unless it's a very, very, very rare circumstance. The woman's been raped or her life is in jeopardy. Those are the very few instances where some taxpayer money can be used to cover some portion of an abortion. But one other thing I wanted to mention, because it's not just public money that they target, they're also targeting private money. So in this legislation that was just proposed in Texas, they're also trying to ban private insurance companies from covering abortion services in the state. Okay, just think about that for a second. So you pay your premiums for your health insurance, and they're getting in between you and your health insurance company and essentially telling you and telling those private insurers you can't cover abortion. Why? Why? You're really gonna tell them what they can and can't cover? Isn't it their business?
Yeah, this is the party that wants government out of your life.
Yeah.
I mean, they're so inventive about the ways that they've tried to restrict abortion in the state of Texas and others, but Texas has really been their cutting edge. And as you say, they've talked about the clinics and certain restrictions on the clinic. They have to have hospital width hallways and all these things that would make it impossible for an abortion clinic. I mean, little stuff like that. You think, well, that's such a minuscule thing, but it prevents an abortion clinic from staying open. So with them closing, women in Texas are having to go farther and farther and farther to get it, to exercise that right. And as you say, it's a grim right that they're exercising. That's not an excited drive they're making to, oh boy, let's go, this is a very difficult and emotional procedure.
It is.
So it's the saddest news from a party that supposedly wants to stay out of our lives.
If you like this clip of the Young Turks, there's a whole live 2-hour show, 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern every day, and you can download it or stream it and watch it without ads if you become a member. TYTnetwork.com/join.